4 hours.
Regardless.
Where those leads are coming from doesn't matter. That's your lead gen time. You're doing it at this house.
I got a funny story for you I gotta tell. Before
Okay,
I knew
tell.
any better, the very first open house I ever did was for Bat. And I showed up early, and I had to clean the house and do the dishes and put away laundry. I didn't know I wasn't supposed to do that stuff. I'm like, I hope nobody doesn't show up because I'm all sweaty.
That's for someone
I ate all the cookies.
Feel free to bring pizza in the oven. Go ahead. Joe Bell, ladies and gentlemen.
So I've got to be very close to a brand new agent who is relentless about making phone calls. And when he first started, it was horrible, horrific. Like some of the stuff he was saying on the phone, I'm like, you can't say stuff like that. And he was fumbling over his word. I mean, it was brutal. And I'm like, this poor kid doesn't have a chance right now. And I've sat there and day after day, week after week, month after month, he has just pounded the phone, just hammered on it. So the other day, I kind of haven't been here much, right, over the last four weeks.
Busy. What have you been
Right?
doing,
Yeah, I know, right? I come in, and this guy is nailing a seller on the phone. Just zing, zing, zing. Okay, I'll be there at 3 o'clock. Done. Picks up the phone again, does it again. And it's just like, oh my gosh, I look at his,
He grew up.
I looked at his stats, and I'm like, wow, this guy has like 8 or 9 listings. He's got 3 or 4 pending. He's already closed 3 deals, and he started in January. So my aha is, I don't care what you say on the phone as long as it's legal. Just make the phone calls and do a little bit of research on what to say, and it will start to come through. And I mean, it's been awesome being so close to it.
Well, it's interesting to listen to you talking about scripts because I had I don't know why, I was telling Allison this morning, why my teenagers choose to have these heart-to-heart conversations with me that begin at 11:45 p.m. It just never fails. So my daughter's talking to me, she works at Sephora downtown in the mall, and she starts telling me about her company. And she's now training new employees, right? And so she's like, you know, I mean, basically what we have is a script. And so what people have to do is internalize that script and make it theirs. They don't have to say the exact words that I tell them, they just have to get the bullet points. But then the more they repeat it over and I kid you not, I wanted to get out a voice recorder and listen to this. She's like, the more they repeat it, the more it becomes them and it doesn't sound canned. I just looked at her and I was like, can you please go get your real estate license? But my point is that we have, like, a lot of times we have these objections to scripts. I don't want to be that person. I don't want to use scripts. I don't want to be canned. Guys, in retail, they understand that you say the same thing over and over and over again because you have the same information to communicate over and over and over again. It's not a bad thing. And this guy, I know, is just practicing, trial and error, failing forward, and now he's nailing them. Lindsay.
When you're talking about scripts and opposition to scripts, you know, you can come into the industry or be here a while and just have opposition to scripts and say, I'm not going to script, but over time you will come up with your own script. Right. So you can either take one that's proven successful from the very beginning and make minor tweaks to it over time to make it even more successful to you, or you can start from ground zero and have to write it and fail over and over and over on your own.
Yeah.
But eventually you'll end up with a script.
Regardless, absolutely. Dave.
It's not used a lot, but I've had actually pretty good success just doing business to business, grabbing a handful
That's
of
been a big
cards and
thing,
just
yeah.
saying, hey, I'm on a mission to get 2 referrals. Who do you know that's looking to buy or sell their home? And it's amazing to me. I've done 987 of those the first 6 months of this year.
Have you been tracking that?
Yes.
What was your clue?
And it works. I kid you not. You walk into a place, you know, my parents are moving, or I've just moved here looking for a house. Here's their number. Call them up. I did. I sell them a house. I mean, I'm just listing my house. Yeah, I'm going to sell. I had 2 referrals from one lady the other day. Yeah, I know 2 friends that are selling their house and beginning to selling their house right now. It works. You know, you just have to just get over it. And the thing that's cool about that, you don't always catch people at home. Unless, you know, what do you do Tuesday afternoon or Tuesday morning? They're at work, you know, no one's at not many people are like, there's one person at home to even answer the door.
Right.
But you go to a business that's open, you're always gonna catch somebody. And you get a kid, their folks wanna sell. You get an older person, they're downsizing. It's just amazing. Nobody does it. Anybody can do it, and it works.
Love it.
You know, a lot of my business, especially people that I do business with, is that business-to-business referral. I've sold houses. I've sold a house to a door-to-door salesman who came to try to sell me. I sold to bank tellers that I'm at the bank.
Oh, yeah.
I have grocery store clerks at the grocery store. And you know, let me ask you something. When these people are in there every day, how often does someone take the time to just say, you know what? I just want you to know how much I really appreciate the hard work that you do. You know, every time I come here and every time I use your services, you do a fantastic job. Is there anything I can do to be helping you? I don't know if you know this, but I'm in the real estate business. I don't know if it's relevant to what you have going on in your life, but I'd love an opportunity to serve you and just, you know, anything I can do to help, man. You're a rock star. And man, that's the law of reciprocity. Not only that, but you make them feel loved and appreciated. And I've told you this, listen, what is lead generation? Lead generation, you throw all that crap out the window, make people feel loved and appreciated. When you're the best part of their day, business will find a way.
Well, we had this conversation yesterday when we were signing your paperwork. I filled out his direct deposit form for his commission check since he's in Westella. And he goes, you know, I really appreciate that you guys offer that. I think that's cool and that would be really convenient. And I need to be in the bank working my sphere. He's like, because I don't actually go in the bank a lot. And if I don't have a check to, banking now, you can honestly, Butch and I were talking about this the other day, you never walk into a bank anymore. You can deposit your check on your phone, you can do everything mobile
Right.
and online. And you worked at Alaska USA for years before real estate. He's like, I need to keep like pounding the pavement in, I haven't finished.
No,
yet,
your
you
personal
know?
peeps, yo.
Gee, money.
I'll finish it, but I thought that was really interesting. They'll teach you how to Remax, do they? But the point was, you understand, and I want you to hear something because the last several things that we've just talked about all involved literally like pressing flesh, belly to belly. You guys know where the business is right now. Every business, period, is all moving to high tech, low touch. Right? Everything is. You can shop online. You can sit at home and furnish your house from your computer online. Everything is high tech, low touch. We know that 92% of the buyers go to the internet first. You guys all know that statistic. We also know that a lot of people, when the market sank, started making expired calls and FSBO calls that they never were making before. That's still low touch, even though it's a phone call. I think the reason we're seeing a lot of great reception is, the truth is, we are made to be relational people. That's how we're created. We're just made to meet people. How much more powerful is a face-to-face, belly-to-belly contact than an email, an internet lead? And I'm not taking away from internet leads, but I'm just saying, I think that getting out, knocking the doors, business to business, working businesses, working your personal peeps, the people that you do business with personally on a daily basis, that's a powerful component, and I think the consumer wants it. I think they want to remember that they do business with people they know. Everything's big box, and I'm not saying it's a bad thing. Everything's big box, high volume, low cost. I think you drive your business back to, I'm your realtor, and by the way, you know my face. You hear my voice. You hear the tonality in what I'm saying. You can't communicate passion through an email. You can't communicate energy through an email. And many people will choose their realtor because of their passion and their energy and their enthusiasm. You lose all of that through high-tech touches. Now, you got to use them, and trust me, in the right place. But hear what I'm saying? I love that a lot of this prospecting you guys are talking about, it's a contact sport. Yeah.
I think you're totally right. All the technology you need to use, but you need to develop a rapport and a trust with somebody before you do that.
And you need to be able to have those conversations. If all we're doing is hiding behind the internet and leads and email and just hiding, when it's time to have those conversations, because you actually convert one, not actually, but you convert one. Let's say you did, you get that lead, you convert it into a good lead, they've given you a good phone number, and they're ready to go. They're converted, and you don't know what to say because you don't talk to people about real estate.
Right.
You just sit at your computer.
Right.
Do you know what the number one attribute is that sells any product or even sells your services? What is that number one thing?
I think it's enthusiasm.
It's enthusiasm.
Or passion for the
Enthusiasm,
product.
energy. Energy is contagious. The guy on the late night television show does not sit there picking at his belly button and going, really great product, you can do that. He doesn't do it from a chair, he does it standing up, and he does it, and you know he's on target. Okay, the TV, all those things, they don't, you know, it works.
Well, think about a class. If you go to a class and you listen to an instructor and they stand there, how many times have you walked away from class and said, that was the most dry 3 hours I've ever heard in my life? And if you get someone who is teaching you how to install ironing board covers and they bring energy and enthusiasm and people walk away and be like, holy crap, changed my life. Totally changed my life. But it's the energy quotient, right? And it was funny going back to my daughter and talking about Sephora, who has, it's fast, by the way, it's a fascinating company. I'm like blown away. They don't use management in titles at all. It's all leadership. They don't, their core values are posted on their wall, and they do recognition when you see someone exhibit a core value. And one of the top core value is energy, high energy. And it's because they understand, Joe's
Good job.
turn, push. So I completely agree.
But just before he said that about the energy, I was going to say that lead generation is mindset. You have to be thinking about it all the time. And part of what you're thinking about is being energetic and stuff. But when you walk in the bank, you walk in the bookstore, you're getting your lunch, whatever, talk to the people and be enthusiastic, and you know that's where your business is going to come from all the time.
Your mark.
Hit it with your
That
car.
was another one I did. I'd walk across, when my first year, I'd walk across the street to Barnes and Noble because I didn't have any business, I didn't know what to do. So I'd go sit in the real estate book section and I'd start conversations with people looking at real estate investing books. And then you look at it and I go, hey, you know what? This is a better book. This is a better book. Have you read this one? That was awesome.
You didn't
Oh, by
say
the way, I
people
can tell
over.
everybody.
But here's what careful with that, and I appreciate that story, and the restraining orders were all dropped.
I'm using a pepper spray.
It's years of experience.
Biggest issue I want you to think about. Guys, where there is a freaking will, there is a way. You will figure out a way. And I will tell you, one of my most frustrating times is when someone comes to me and says, what do you need to call about? There's always something to call about. There's always something to talk about. Open up your brain and go, okay, and you know what, even if you hit a writer's block and you totally, and I get it, it happens, just right here in this room, we just got like 7 great ideas. You have people who speak this language all around you. Go get somebody to kind of get maybe your juices need to get fired and your brain needs to start tweaking.
And I think our richest source of leads is our database.
Thank you. Always.
Those are the people who know us and love us. That's our database. So we call them, and I hear it all the time. My database does not want to hear from me anymore. Quit telling me to call my database. That is not true. You just don't know what to say to them. So once a month, make it your goal. I'm calling everybody. If you have a 300-person database or a 200-person database, you can hammer through that in 2 or 3 weeks, right? You don't know what to say? Call Lindsay. Lindsay, what can I tell my people? Call the title company. What can I tell my people? There is information out there everywhere that we can tell our people. If you don't want to call them and say you need to buy, sell, or invest in real estate, I get that. I don't want to do it either. But there's something to tell them. And, oh, by the way, you're going to get to a referral, or every conversation is just an opportunity to strengthen that relationship. So if you don't know what to tell them, if you don't have anyone to call your database. Don't ever say, I don't have anyone to call. Call your database. They love you. If you don't know what to say to your database, call Lindsay. Call the title company. Go online and look up something. We get 100 emails a day about all this stuff. Go online and look at all the stuff that other people post on their Facebook because they said post this on Facebook. Pick that up and tell them that.
If you just call your database and
they say your name, you've won.
Well, it's top of mind awareness,
Yeah,
absolutely, you're just reinforcing top of mind awareness, even if it's
Just
a,
ask them how their day is going. They say your name, you've
summer's been
won.
amazing, you get outside. You wanna talk about that Chris McNamara conversation?
Yeah, two quick things that I want to talk about. One, guys, I used to think to call them my database, and I was like, I'm not gonna do that, I'm not gonna call them and ask for business, that's dumb. Until about a year ago.
Which was really, really smart.
Right, yeah, totally smart. Because I was like, oh, they're my friends. I'm not going to call them and say, hey, friend, do you know anything about business? Until about a year ago, I got a phone call from a friend that would have been in my database. And he calls me up, and his name's Tim. And he's like, hey, Jake, and this is one of the guys that I normally text and never call, you know, so it was kind of weird getting a
Well,
phone
you
call from
guys
him.
are guys, so that's how you do it.
Right, and he's like, hey Jake, haven't talked to you in forever, man. Hey, just wanted to preface this conversation with letting you know it's a business call. I just got hired at Giant Don's, and I know that you're in the real estate industry, and I just wanted to call and let you know that if you ever know anybody doing any remodeling or anything like that, I wanted to let you know that I work here, and I'd love to take care of you. Do you know anybody that's looking to remodel or refloor or anything? And I'm like, not right now, man, but if I do, I'll pass along your number. And he's like, awesome, okay, well, perfect. I'll give you a shout this weekend, we'll see what's going on. Thanks, man. And he hung up. And it was like, plug out Giant Don's and plug in Keller Williams. and it didn't, like, being on the receiving end of the phone call didn't feel weird at all. Like, he was a buddy, and I was like, yeah, if I can help you, I'd love to. And being on the receiving end of the phone call, it's like,
And he's 25!
Hey, you should have been recruiting that guy.
You know what? My biggest hurdle was I don't want to sound weird when I make that phone call. And then being the guy that got that phone call, I was like, that didn't sound weird at all. That sounded totally normal and fluid.
Yeah.
Like, did you make calls for me?
But it's, I mean, it really is.
The Giant Don script.
Yeah, just hey, I've talked to you in forever. I wanted to know if I can help you.
So, and then talk about the McNamara.
And then one of the other big ahas that I got while we were down at coaching skills camp, I was sitting at lunch and one of the guys from Texas said that instead of lead generating for
This is our bowl coach, by the way, from last year. Who
yeah,
from last
Chris
year?
McNamara,
Who got
if
married?
any of you remember him, super awesome guy, love that guy.
And he got married.
He's But we're sitting at lunch, and he shifted the way that I thought about lead generating, because instead of lead generating for 2 or 3 hours and people go, gosh, I don't know what to do, I don't know what to say to people, he said that they have a competition to see who can get to 50 no's first. And it's competition. And the first person to get to 50 no's gets lunch. And he said that it's gotten to the point where people start competing, and people actually start getting sore when they get somebody on the phone that wants to, oh yeah, actually, my brother-in-law's thinking about something. And they take like 20 minutes of your time because you're setting up an appointment for a buyer's presentation, and the guy next to you is like, no, okay, no, okay.
Why
And
is
you're
he
like,
telling
so he said it starts getting to the point where it's like, right?
But see, but it's, number one, it's making it fun, right? This job is the most boring job you'll ever do in your life if you do it right. So make it fun and have some fun with it. And I love the idea of the nose, and I love but then I take that a step further. It's just a numbers game. That's all this is. You don't have enough business, make more calls. You have too much business, make less calls. It's like the gas pedal. You're cruising
I
down.
think you mean hire somebody.
You get my point. You understand my point. You know, you're driving down the road, you're on the gas pedal, you realize you're going too fast. I mean, it's literally just a numbers game. And guess what? The numbers don't. We have the basic model with the business plan. We know how many names need to be in the database to generate, 12 transactions or 12 names in a Met database times 33 times equals 2 transactions a year. Right there. We know the math. We know that 50 haven't Mets that receive a 12 direct campaign over the course of a year generates 1 transaction. We know that. What we don't know is your personal numbers to get an appointment. This is different for every single one of you. So I can't tell you that math. All I can tell you is let's just tweak and mess with the number of calls. But if it's not happening, there's a really simple answer. increase. Just increase and get through the no's to get the yes.
Yeah.
I love that. Stop it.
Well, I think being purposeful with your database too, you know, not just, yes, there's a numbers game, but also saying, like what we did is take our database and say, okay, these people are the ones that give us at least 10 referrals a year, what can we do to plus that and get them to 20? These guys give us 5 referrals a year, how can we get them to 10? You know, how can we take our active clients, which is something we focus on really heavily, and get a referral out of them before they close?
Okay.
Interesting word that you used right there, focus,
But it's focus, right? It was funny.
Having a bad intern.
Yesterday, I had a conversation with the gal that's moving her license this week as well, that I can't wait to tell you all about. As soon as it's out there, I can. And she was sharing with me that she's already told several people that she's close with in the industry that she's moving companies. And she was telling me about this conversation she had with this one guy, and he said, you know what? I'm glad you're going over there, because I want you to send those Keller Williams people a message for me. She goes, okay. What message would that be? He said, I want you to tell them they don't have a corner on how to do real estate in this town. And she goes, well, I don't, it's Wasilla, so.
That one's Palmer.
Yeah, that is Palmer, that's right. She says, well, I don't think that they've ever said that they have that corner, but what do you mean? And he goes, well, I mean, they just think they're the only ones who know how to run this business. And she goes, why do you think? He goes, I've been to their classes and I've taken their stuff, and, you know, they just think they know so much. And she goes, well, I've been to a lot of their classes and I've been to a lot of their stuff over the years, and really, it all comes down to lead generating. And she goes, you know, it's funny, I've been going to their stuff for a couple of years now, and every time I go, I hear the same thing. It's lead generating. She goes, but you know what? I hear the same thing because it's lead generating. She goes, that's just it. And like, this is a conversation you have to have in your business every day. Because truly, what works for Anna is not going to be what's most effective for Valisa, which is not going to be what's most effective for Joe. You all have your own unique ability.